Ladies and genitals, what the fuck is up? Today, I have another back to school video for you. Who else is better at giving tips than me? Kidding. There are only 7 things you need to do to make this school year your best yet. To begin with, number 1, make sure your brain is healthy, and this is not the obvious one. Because more often than not, people will stay up late trying to study, they'll be stressed out, they won't be eating healthy, they'll be trying to access like junk food because they're stressed out overeating, and that's actually just ruining your brain and it's making it more difficult for you to concentrate, study and have good memory. So you need to make sure your dopamine is in check, you have all your vitamins, everything is balanced basically. So I really recommend that you go to your doctor and you get a blood test, make sure your iron levels are up to count, you have all of the nutrition you need, because if you're, say, deficient in something like iron, you're actually going to find it really difficult to concentrate. A simple solution such as iron tablets or an iron infusion can solve your issues. Also, like, check your gut health, take some probiotics. Gut health is your second brain. If you feel like you can't concentrate, there might be a gut issue there as well. Also, if you have dopamine issues, it can mean you are overstimulated from watching too much TikTok, which is obviously going to ruin your concentration. So I really recommend getting off TikTok, getting off Instagram. It's gonna be hard at first, obviously, because it is an addiction, but over time it will be easier. I recommend watching my previous video, which was like, what was it called? 8 things you can do today which are going to help change your life. That could definitely be paired with this video, but in it I talked about exercise. Exercise helps discipline your brain. It's also obviously good for you. When I was in school, I made sure I tried to work out just a little bit every day, and it really helped me in school. Another thing which is not so obvious to students, but you really need to sleep. Watch my previous video. Lack of sleep can actually simulate ADHD effects. So sleep, you guys, because overall you're going to want to study smarter, not harder. And if you have good gut health, brain health, you're healthy overall and you have healthy habits, then it's going to enable you to study smarter, not harder. But if you don't have these things, you're just going to be studying, and you'll be like, damn, why can I not remember anything? And it's because you're unhealthy and you're tired. And obviously, you guys, if you have ADHD, it's going to be very different for you. You need to set your goals at the beginning of the school year. You need to have tunnel vision. If you know what you're working towards and every day you're reminded of it, it won't be difficult for you to study. Do you want to get into Harvard? Do you want to get a 99 ATAR? Figure out why you're studying. Because if you're just studying because your parents want you to, then it's really difficult to study. So you need to find a reason that's for you and for your future. Number 3, this is a more obvious one, but you need to have a study routine. I had my study routine down when I was in high school, and it was something like I'd get home at 3 p.m. and then 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. I would watch a TV show and eat my snacks, and then from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. I would study, something like that. Doing that every day consistently, it took the burden off of my mind of figuring out what I should be doing between those hours, because the human brain likes routine. Same with the morning routine. I had a morning routine, I had a night routine. If you have too much going on in your brain, get therapy. No, I'm joking. Meditate. That as well. But if you have too much going on in your brain, not having routine is just going to add to the stress, and you'll be overwhelmed, overstimulated, and what that ends up leading to is procrastination or just doing literally nothing. Sometimes it can lead to depression, and I've experienced all of that. Number 4, if you have a test coming up or you have a major assignment, move the date up a few weeks and then make a study routine which will break down the syllabus or how many paragraphs you need to write each day. So say you have an assignment due in 4 weeks, I would make the due date 3 weeks in my head, and then I would say by the first week I'm gonna finish my introduction paragraph, or by the second week I'll finish my methodology. And you guys understand, because sometimes if you leave it last minute, there's just too much pressure. And I got into a really bad habit in uni when I was working full-time as well, where I would wait until like the night before to do an assignment, because that pressure would make me get it done. And that was when my brain was like properly fucked up. Like number one, I was not healthy, because I was working full-time, I was studying full-time, I was not sleeping, I was not exercising, I was not eating right. Because all of that in my brain was messed up, I wasn't able to function properly, and therefore I also had to rely on this pressure of getting everything done like 3 hours before it was due. But prior to that, I was never like it. I would finish everything early and I would be relatively chill about it because I would have everything planned out. Okay, number 5, you want to use the right tools. And this is something that I think is overlooked because students tend to do everything themselves, and we're like, oh, we don't want to ask the teacher for help, we don't want to attend that class, or we don't want to take a tutor on because it's too expensive. I have a solution for you. Number one, use Quizlet. I would always be on the bus testing myself, just going through it. And seriously, while you're waiting for that bus, like 10 minutes, or when you're on the bus, you can get so much done. That's my hack, Quizlet. And also my other hack is Chegg. Now I've talked about Chegg before, but Chegg is like a lifesaver for students. Chegg, this video is sponsored by Chegg. More importantly, we're going to be talking about the Chegg study pack, which is something I use in both my high school experience, and I found out very late in college about it, to my detriment, but it is the most wonderful resource you're ever going to use. Now, the Chegg study pack is really going to get you through high school and university. Whatever degree you're doing, whatever class you're taking, they can help you. If it's 2 a.m, you're stuck on a problem, says you need a step-by-step solution, you can ask one of the experts on Chegg and they will send you a step-by-step walkthrough of how to solve the problem. There's also textbook solutions, so if you need homework help, and expert Q&A, it will literally be studying at 3 a.m, send in a question and you're going to get a response. There's practice sets to test your knowledge, and we all know, or I hope so, that the way to get perfect at something is through practice. And sometimes uni and school, they don't give you enough practice questions, but Chegg has loads for you. There's also video walkthroughs, which can be very helpful. They really got me through statistics and chemistry and all the really difficult classes. You can also send off your essay or your paper off to an expert and they will help check it for you and grade it. And in general, they have a plagiarism checker that will also check for grammar mistakes. It's such a great investment, you guys. Use the link in the bio to get $5 off your first month of Chegg study pack. It is an investment into yourself. It's going to make your life so much easier. $20, you guys, come on, and you get $5 off if you use my code. Okay, brain hacking. In number 1, we talked about having a healthy brain, but number 2 is brain hacking. And that means, apart from getting your dopamine levels under check, you need to establish a reward system for you. So dopamine is linked to rewards, right? It is your reward system. But how you want to get that in check is, number 1, you get off social media, or you use it as a reward for yourself. For example, I do 1 hour of studying. At the end of it, I can go on like my phone for 10 minutes. I can eat a fucking chocolate bar or something. That is going to give you dopamine. But I think nowadays, people will mix their free time with social media or their work time with social media, so your dopamine is all messed up because it's messing up your reward system. So for me, my reward when I was in school was that once I've done everything, I can lie in my bed and do whatever the hell I wanted, and I would just binge YouTube, really. That is a way I would hack my brain because I would really want to do it later on when my reward system was messed up and I had absolutely zero discipline with myself. I would, in the middle of studying or doing anything, I would then go and watch YouTube where I'd open a tab, and because of that, I got nothing done. If you're like that at the beginning, it's going to be very difficult to get your dopamine under control, but in a few days, you'll get there. A week later, you'll be good. Another one is that you need to have a designated study area. Don't ever study on your bed. Your bed is for sleeping, it's not for studying. You need to have a study table, go to a library, have a corner of your house where you do all the studying, but never ever do it on your bed. When you go to your table, your brain will know, okay, now it's time to study. But the moment you go to your bed and it becomes your study spot, it will be more difficult for you to sleep, and at the same time, your bed is now associated with sleeping and studying, and it would just mess everything up. I would only ever study at my table, and if I would struggle to concentrate at home, I would go to the library. Oh, also at the library, make sure you don't start getting distracted at the library and using your phone, because seriously, the minute you do that, the library is now a spot for you to be distracted, and your brain will have that association and it will be hard to break. Number 7, have hobbies outside of studying. Now, if you're an American student, I know you're doing all of your extracurriculars, but in Australia, we don't really have extracurriculars to get into university. You just get the grade and you're in. So, especially for my Australian students, you need to have extracurriculars, you need to have hobbies. And you may be thinking, oh my god, Simone, I don't have time to have hobbies because I gotta study so much. And I get it, but remember we talked about brain hacking, getting control of your brain. There's actually certain hobbies you can do which is going to help you learn information faster and become more intelligent overall. And that is picking up a sport or exercising in general. Number 2, learning to play an instrument, or if you already know, go play that instrument at least once per day. 3, reading. It will help stimulate your mind for learning a new language. These are 7 things you can do right now to have a better school year, and I do recommend you guys watching my previous video because that goes into how you can change your life, and I talk about the mind as well. And honestly, I think with students, a lot of the issues come down to motivation, discipline, and also memory, and that can all be linked to your brain health and your dopamine and how you study. Hacks will only get you so far, especially if your brain is fucked up. Don't forget to download Check. It's so worth it, and it's not that expensive. It's such an investment into your future and your grades and getting into the uni you want. So I really recommend it, you guys, and ich liebe dich. Have a wonderful day.
Fear love, shout of thugs forever. Do stronger for you. Norman Rockwell. No hype under. It's just me and you. Oh God, miss you on my list. Me a little Venice bitch on the street of the neighborhood kiss. Son of bang bang kiss kiss. You're in the yard, I like the fire, and as the summer fades away, nothing gold can stay. You right eye tour, we make it work. You're beautiful and I'm insane. We're American made. Give me Hallmark. One dream under one lover. Make me happy and blue. Norman Rockwell. No hype under our cover. Is that right? It's just me and you. Oh God, miss you on my list. It's me, a little Venice bitch on the stoop with the neighborhood kids. Selling off bang bang kids. You're in the yard, I like the fire as the summer fades away. Nothing can stay. You right eye to we make it work. American made. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Sounding off bang bang kiss kiss. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Sounding off bang bang kiss kiss. Oh God, miss you on my lips. It's me, a little Venice bitch on the stoop with the neighborhood kids. Sounding off bang bang kiss kiss. Yeah. 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 Sounding off bang bang kiss kiss. Yeah. Papers looking down on. You should probably come over. Hanging around on. You should probably coming over. Oh God, missing on my list. It's me, a little Venice bitch. Touch me with your fingertips. It's me, a little Venice bitch. Back in the garden, we're getting high now because we're older. In the love of my diamonds, better rooms in a clover. Whoa, 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 whatever, everything, ever. whoa, 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 whatever, everything, ever. Whoa, 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 whatever, everything.
Oh, I'm so fast.
Ever, whoa, whatever. Me, myself, I like diamonds, pelicans and a clover. Over and over, honey. Over and over, honey. Over and over, honey. Over and over, honey. If you were mine, I'd be jealous of your love. If you were mine, I'd be jealous of your love.